Jesus, something's just exploded in the paddock. Hello and welcome back to the Volks Wizard channel. Now I'm sure many of you know about the Golf GTI TCR road car. Did you know there was a Golf GTI TCR racing car, and that's the car that inspired the road car? Now I've been fascinated with these cars for a long time. They came out quite a few years ago now, and the second-hand ones are about 40 to 50,000 euros, and they make the perfect track toy because it is a proper racing car. This car's leading its class in the championship, even though it's quite an old model. So you can buy one of these for the same kind of money as buying a decent Golf and tuning it for the track. That sounds like a great idea. To see if it's really that good, I'm going to hop in this car as a passenger and go for a lap on a race circuit. It's not just any race circuit though. We're doing a lap of the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit with loads of runoff, but this is an endurance racing weekend, and that means that we're also going to do a lap of the gnarly Nordschleife. And for that, I need to get into a fireproof suit. Now it's that time in the video where I like to quickly remind you guys how you can support the channel. The easiest way to do that as ever is simply to subscribe. We reached the massive milestone of 60,000 subscribers, so big thanks to each and every one of you. The other way you can support the channel is to give me the opportunity to purchase your interesting Volkswagen Group vehicle. We're currently looking for unmodified cars with a full service history up to 5 years old, in above average condition and with average mileage or below. We will make an exception to the age rule for special cars like the Mark 7 Golf GTI Club Sport and Club Sport S, and anything that's interesting with an unusually low mileage. So if you've got something that sounds like that, then get in touch with me directly, Andrew at volkswizard.co.uk, for a prompt valuation. All right, welcome to the Max Kruse Racing team truck. And here are a selection of GTI branded race suits. Unfortunately, I can't take one home. I think that one's a good fit for me. So I'm just going to strip off, not completely, and get that on. The guy who was here before us said he's keeping his trousers on. I said you might want to take them off because you might need a spare pair by the end of it. Yeah, proper race suit. It's got the FIA stuff on it here. I think they use these for the launch of the TCR at Portimao. Maybe Joe Kinney's wore one of these. Be a bit bigger one than mine, I think. Just need to go and get a helmet now, and then, yeah, we're going to get in the car. Okay, while we're waiting to get fitted up for a helmet, welcome to the pit garage of Max Kruse Racing here at the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. So a lot of the cars are out. There's an RS3 LMS. The car we're going in, the 7.5 TCR. And there is the 8.5-ish racing car that was taken out of the museum in Wolfsburg and raced in the 24-hour. And they're just doing some final setup for it. Benny Leuchter's over here, and he's doing he's called it the rollout, because he knows this car better than everybody. They're using him for the final sort of settings of it. Apparently when it was in America, the humidity got to a lot of the parts and they had to be replaced, so a lot of work went into that car to make it ready for the N24. It's a largely standard shell with a tuned VA888 engine, loads of other different bits. Okay, cars go wrong, and this car went wrong. The problem with the boost, we had a couple of corners, it started to sort of just like, not misfire, but just not pull hard enough consistently. So we came back in. Luckily we're still on the GP circuit. They had this problem before, they thought they fixed it. Clearly they haven't. If you work on cars like I do, you know this is common, whether it's a racing car or a road car. So they're going to try and fix it. Hopefully we'll get out for a full lap. There's a lot of sucking of teeth going on. I'm not sure how they describe that in Germany, but yeah, laptop's out, and we're trying to find out where the problem is with the turbocharger. And the good thing is, generally they're a pretty standard EA888 engine, but obviously the maps are different. So yeah, apparently it's not a hardware problem. That's why they're looking at the laptops. In the meantime, Benny Leuchter's come back in after a few laps to set the car up after some changes. The Golf seems to be fixed, but there's a backlog of people going out in it. So I'm going for a passenger ride in the RS3 LMS, which is the only 4-cylinder RS3, which should be pretty cool. This helmet has just come straight off the head of Karsten who you may or may not know is a legend when it comes to chassis tuning. He did the 911 GT2, he did the Mark 5 Golf GTI, and he had a hand in the Mark 7 Golf GTI Club Sport S. So yeah, I'm happy to wear Karsten's sweaty helmet. Yeah, that was interesting. I wanted to get out at one point, and I was just so glad when we came to the little carousel at the end, because I know after that it's pretty close to the end. Probably the worst bit is on the Grand Prix circuit, because the corners are hard and long. Once you hit the Nordschleife, it's actually not as fierce, and the corners are less sustained. But yeah, incredible, and they do that for 24 hours. It's just crazy. Okay, it's been a few minutes since I got out of the car. I just thought I'd give you a more thorough summary of what happened out there. Yeah, the forces you feel in that car are just incredible. But actually the worst thing is there is a vibration that just is constantly there, and that really is quite unpleasant. Obviously you get forces through the car from the loading up in the corners and stuff like that. But yeah, I think the vibration was the worst thing. It gave me a real headache. It's impressive what they can do with what is effectively a road car that's just been tarted up for racing. Apparently the tyres are a big part of it, because it's obviously running slicks, but there's a thorough reworking of the bits they can rework, but effectively it's the road car shell and engine. So should I buy one as a fun track day car? Yeah, I'm not so sure. I'd want to experience that again, plus I'm not sure my driving would be up to getting the most out of a car like that, because what they do is just so violent, and just, I'm not sure I've got the fitness level to sustain that for more than maybe a couple of laps or so, even though the car would go on forever and ever. So yeah, maybe I think I'll just stick to my lovely, comfy Club Sport S. As ever, guys, thanks for watching this Volkswagen video. Keep subscribing, keep commenting, and I'll see you for the next one very soon. Now normally that would be the end of the video, but what happened next I really want to share with you guys. As you can see, I was a bit shaken up from the passenger ride. I've never experienced anything like that before. I didn't feel very well. I felt a bit sick, and I had to get back to the hotel and get myself straight, because we were having dinner with the Volkswagen crew at the Piston Plaza about 90 minutes later. So I slowly made my way around the back of the pit garages through the paddock, back towards the hotel. I didn't get very far from the Max Cruise garage before I stopped to take a photo of two Porsches. Obviously, you know I love Porsches, and I hadn't really done anything Porsche related at what is a Porsche mecca. So I took this photo. Probably took me longer than usual because I wasn't very steady on my feet, and I had to get on my tiptoes to get the shot that I wanted. And then I still had my phone in my hand from taking that photo when there was an almighty explosion in the paddock a few pit garages down from where we were. There was smoke and people screaming, people running towards it, people running away from it, people shouting in German, call an ambulance. I estimate that if I hadn't taken that photo, me and Kate would have been in the area where people were injured from that explosion. So yeah, that's pretty scary. What we think happened was that a compressed air canister, which is used for many things with race teams, had exploded maybe while it was being filled up for the next day's racing, and that had sent shrapnel for quite a distance in that area, and obviously the person who was operating it was injured. So 22 people were injured in total, and 3 of those were very seriously injured. We saw parts, body parts, the length of an articulated lorry away from where the explosion took place. But the response from the emergency services was incredible. Obviously it's a top flight race circuit, they have ambulances on site, and they got there really quickly. The helicopters were there as well. But 3 in total took the injured to hospital in Koblenz. The point I really want to make is that this was a free event on that day. So anybody could have walked in off the street. They didn't sign an indemnity. They didn't even have a ticket that said motorsport is dangerous. They could have been walking past that pit garage with their family and could have, been very seriously injured. It was a miracle that what happened at 20 past 6 at night when the paddock was quite empty. If it had been earlier, if it had been the next day, which was a full race day when the paddock was even busier, yeah, it would have been carnage. And I don't think these things happen at particular times. They're pretty random. Nobody expects a compressed air canister to explode do they? So I don't know what's going to happen to events like this because they're really open. You can go in the paddock, you can go in the pit garages as well. They do a grid walk. But yeah, with race teams, there's always such a lot of risk. They do manage it. Health and safety is really good, but something like this just shows you how risky these things can be. So yeah, it's one to watch. But if you do go to a motorsport event, then yeah, do bear in mind that there is always going to be some sort of risk involved in that. I do just want to mention as well that Benny Leuchter, the Volkswagen brand ambassador, test driver and ring record driver, auctioned one of his race suits to help the families of the injured. Volkswagen and Max Trees Racing were not involved in this incident at all, but just to help people out, especially as Benny is really a ring ambassador as well as a Volkswagen ambassador. So that was a really nice touch. It made about €1,800, which, yeah, gone to a very good cause.